Hey guys, welcome back. For today's video, I'm going to be doing the pregnancy tag, and I'm just going to jump straight in because otherwise we're going to be here for about 10 years. So the first question is, how and when did you find out you were pregnant? I found out, I'm pretty sure it was the day that my period was due. It could have been the day before though, I can't remember, it was one or the other. But because we had been trying to conceive, I was sort of already prepared and waiting to see if my period would be late or not. And I had a pregnancy test on hand. So I took the test, obviously came back positive. It was during the week, so Joe wasn't home, he was at work. So yeah, I was all by myself with Taylor, and I was really excited. Well, the second question is, and how did you feel? I was excited. I was surprised that it happened so easily. I was expecting for us to struggle a bit more this time to conceive than we did with Taylor. But again, it was pretty much the 1 month that we were trying for, and he was conceived. I was nervous as well because, like I touched on in one of my more recent pregnancy vlogs, I was so sick when I was pregnant with Taylor. I was kind of nervous that I was going to be just as sick with this pregnancy, that I was going to be missing out on her for the next 9 months. But as it turned out, it was sort of okay. It was okay in the end. But yeah, I was so excited and nervous and really surprised that it was so easy to conceive. How old were you? 27. How did you tell your partner? I let Taylor tell him. So when he got home from work that day, I told her to go tell him that she was going to be a big sister. So she went running out and just said, "Dad, I'm going to be a big sister." So he found out that way, which was really nice. Did you wait 3 months to tell people why and why not? We told our parents, both sets of parents first. Actually, no. First, obviously, I told Joe, and then my sister and I we've had a tradition over the last 3 pregnancies that we've had between us of telling each other first when we were pregnant. It started with her because she had the first daughter, and she came and told me before she told our parents. And then I did the same with Taylor, and then she did it again with Holly. So this time, I messaged her and said that she was going to be an auntie again. She called and was all excited. It was, yeah, really awesome. And then we both told our parents. And I think we've got another couple that we're really close with. We told them, we told my best friend, and we told everyone from my work because I was sick, so they were going to twig on it eventually anyway. So I just thought I'd tell them and get it over with. We told them all within the first week. There might have been someone else, I can't really think. But everyone else, we waited almost 3 months. I think a lot of people had twigged by themselves that we were pregnant again. But yeah, we had decided just to, actually no, we told my parents and everything. We told a few people that week, and then my dad went ahead and told like all their friends. And I was like, "Dad, come on, like let us," we wanted to wait for 3 months. But so a lot of people did know before the 3 months, but we waited until, we waited to announce it on Facebook to the overall friends that we were pregnant until it was about 3 months. Just because, you never know what happened, but I did want to tell those people that we were close with just in case something did happen and we needed the support. Is this your first? No, this is my second pregnancy. Obviously, I have a daughter called Taylor. She's just turned 3 last week. Do you want more? No. My husband would probably have about 10 children if he could, but I'm happy with just 2, and we've discussed this and he is down with that as well. Mostly for the fact that I hate being pregnant. I like the end product of being pregnant. I don't want to be going through it all again for a 3rd time. We are both one of 2 children in our family, so I think 2 is a nice number. Our house will fit 2 children perfectly with a room to spare to be a playroom or an office later or something like that. And financially, I think 2 children were going to be comfortable having 2 children. I think a 3rd one might make it a bit difficult. But like I said, Joe, if he had, like in a perfect world, he would have as many children as he could possibly have, basically. But we have discussed it and we're both happy with 2 children. Question number 8, your biggest craving. I wrote these down because I always forget when I'm asked. Biggest craving by far is iced coffee. I do like iced coffee normally, but I don't usually have to have it. Whereas when I'm pregnant, and it was the same with Taylor, the only thing I want to drink is iced coffee. Cheese sandwiches, which was more the beginning of the pregnancy, but even still now, cheese is something that makes me feel good when I eat it. So in the first few weeks, wanted just carbs. I wanted hash browns, toasted sandwiches, chips, that kind of thing. Even like KFC. I don't want a really junky type of food. And then sort of at the end of the first trimester, my sister brought me a chicken and salad roll for lunch one day when she was visiting. And after that, all I wanted was salad rolls, which was really good because then I could be a bit more healthy again. Not as healthy as probably I want to be, but better than KFC and hash browns and everything all the time. I also was really enjoying eggs this whole pregnancy until just a couple weeks ago. I had an egg sandwich yesterday and I enjoyed it. So apart from those things, I've been eating fairly normally. I have never had a craving in the middle of the night that I had to absolutely have that particular food right there and then. I never had cravings like that. It was fairly normal. What's the best part about being pregnant? I really like feeling him move, especially now he's at the stage where if I touch my belly or tickle it, he responds to me straight away. I really like that. I think that's really nice. It feels really feels a lot like bonding with him. I also like my pregnancy boobs. They are much bigger than my regular boobs, so that's always fun, especially in the first trimester when everything else is still normal. You just have these big boobs, that's great. I love not having a period every month, and buying baby clothes is really, really fun too. What's the worst part about being pregnant? Hands down, the morning sickness. Even though I've done better this time than I did with Taylor, it's still something that I struggle with every day and something that really affects the way I live my life every day. I can't do the things that I want to do all the time, and that really frustrates me. Just simple things like playing with Taylor at the park or just playing with her in general sometimes is a struggle because I find I need to lay down a lot. And then the energy as well that I have, I don't really have much energy at all, so I'll do one activity and then have to have a rest for the rest of the day and not really do a whole lot. And also it affects, I like to run my household a certain way and I can't because I get too tired or I start to feel sick and like I'm going to pass out. So just that kind of thing. Basically, the feeling sick throughout the pregnancy is the worst part by far. Number 11, will you find out the gender? What was it? Will you find out the gender and what do you prefer? We have already found out the gender. We found out the 20 week mark. And if you're not sure, I'm 36 weeks now. We just find out I'm not one for surprises. I think Joe, again, poor Joe, he never gets to do what he wants, but he probably wouldn't have found out this time if it was his choice alone. At the same time, he was excited to find out as well. Like, he wasn't completely against finding out. He just, would have been happy to make it a surprise as well. So we did find out the gender and they're telling us it's a boy. I keep having dreams though that it's a girl, so we'll see how we go. If it is a girl, it won't be too bad because we've picked a name that we would use for either one, and the room is fairly neutral, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if we did have a girl. But, they've said it's a boy, so we'll see how we go. What do I prefer? I really don't mind. I did think before I found out that he was a boy, I did think that I was someone that was more inclined to want girls, and that I would be not disappointed to have a boy, but I wasn't expecting to be as excited as I was to have a boy, if that makes sense. When we found out, I did get quite emotional to know that he was a boy. I don't know why. It was like I would have been just as happy with a girl, but I think it was more just knowing what he was made me emotional. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's, basically how it was. I was also really excited to have the first boy in our family as well. That was pretty exciting. You have the names picked out and what are the stories behind them. Yes, we do have a name picked out. Even before we were pregnant this time, we decided on the name that we were going to use for either a boy or a girl, and it's the same name, both first and middle name. So it's I wouldn't say it's a typical, like for a boy, it's a typical boy name. For a girl, I know of some girls that are named this, but it's not really a gender neutral name as such. But it's a name that we both really like. The middle name is actually Joe's first preference for a boy, but it's not really a name that I could see myself giving my child. So we have settled on the middle name for that one. And then the first name is a name we both really, really like. What is your birth plan? I don't really go in with a plan. With Taylor, I just wanted to do it as naturally as possible, just out of curiosity's sake, to be honest. I wanted to see what it felt like, to see if I could do it. And I was able to. I did have the gas and I was happy to have the gas. That was always going to be my pain relief of choice if I could handle it. I've got nothing against epidurals or any other pain relief, but I just wanted to see if I could do it, and I could, so that's fine. So again, this time I will go in and just try to do the same way as I did last time, just have the gas as my pain relief. If I need to have an epidural, cesarean or whatever, I'm open to it. Just get the baby out as safely as possible and I'll be happy. But yeah, I'm going with the intention of doing it all naturally. Number 14, will you breastfeed? Yes, I plan to. I plan to with Taylor as well, and we were successful in doing so. It wasn't something I was looking forward to. The thought of breastfeeding really freaks me out. Used to really freak me out. Even when I did it with Taylor, I struggled with the physical sensation of it. It's not something that I find comfortable or enjoy. I wanted to do my best to give my children the breast milk if I could, and it turns out I could with Taylor, so I'll be doing the same again with this baby. Hopefully he finds it as easy as she did to breastfeed. If it turns out he can't, you know, I'll do it as long as I can, even just to get the colostrum in him and then move on to formula. I'm happy to do so, but ideally I would love to breastfeed him again. And I did 6 months with Taylor, so I'm hoping to do the same with him as well. Do you plan to work or be a stay-at-home mum? I will be staying at home for the first 6 months of his life, and then I will go back to work part-time. Just for financial reasons, really. I would love to be a stay-at-home mum, you know, full-time, but it's just not gonna, for us to be able to live comfortably, we're not gonna be able to do that. So I will go back to work for 2 weeks, for 2 days a week after 6 months. So probably February next year I will go back to the same job that I had before falling pregnant with him. I also really do enjoy my work. I found when I was on maternity leave with Taylor that I got a little bit bored. After working full-time for so long and then, you know, it was really quite an adjustment. I think this time it would be easier for me just to finish work and not go back, because I'm used to sort of having the days at home and not having a structure, like a workplace structure. But like I said, for financial reasons, I do have to go back to work, and that's fine. Will you make your own baby food? Yeah, I did with Taylor. We introduced her to solids 6 months. I made her dinners, like her vegetable dinners and lunches. She had like an oatmeal kind of, I can't remember what it's called, like a baby oatmeal thing for breakfast. So I didn't make that, obviously. And then for lunch and dinner, she would have the meals that I prepared for her. And her snack, she would have like rusks, and I didn't make my own rusks or anything. So she had about, her main meals were all made by me. And I plan to do the same again for him. She did have the odd packet meal here and there, but that was more for convenience sake than anything else. And number 17, do you have nursery ideas or themes? I wouldn't say there's a theme to his room. I've kind of, although looking at it, there's a lot of arrows around, so that might be a theme that I just did subconsciously. But mostly it was just going to be a grey and blue room. I'm not really into themes as such. Like, I'd never do like a dinosaur themed room or a sports themed room. That's just not something that I'm into. With my decor in the home, I prefer just to have like certain colours and things that I like as a theme. So, and the room does sort of flow with the rest of the house quite well. Like the curtains all match the rest of the curtains in the house. The furniture is sort of, you know, you can see that it all makes sense in the room. So I will do a room tour when I'm finished. I've just ordered the mobile for over his cot. I ordered it yesterday, and I think it's going to take a couple of weeks. So I might end up doing the room tour after he's born. But, I mean, room tours are fun whenever they're done. I'm also still waiting on finishing off his main piece of artwork. The original plan was to have a piece of, like a large photograph of, there's a street near where we live that is his name. And it was going to be a photograph of the street sign with his name on it, on the wall. I'll put a link to the blog post where I got that inspiration from, so you can see what I'm talking about. But I just haven't gotten out there to photograph the sign that I want. And I did find a print on Etsy the other day that I really, really like. So I'm sort of now tossing up between the two. But hopefully I'll decide in the next week or so and get that done. Aside from that, his room is pretty much done. And I can do a room tour as soon as those last couple of things come. So I think that was the last question. So yeah, that was the last question. So I didn't waffle on quite as long as I thought I would, although, I mean, we're at the 20-minute mark filming. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I do enjoy a tag video, so I hope you enjoyed it as well. And I'll be back next week with my next pregnancy update. So thanks for watching. See you guys. Bye.